Imagine waking up one morning to find a wall dividing your city. Your family is on the other side. Your friends are suddenly unreachable. Crossing a single street could cost you your life. For nearly 3 decades, that was reality for millions of people in Berlin. This is the story of the Berlin Wall. When World War II ended in 1945, Germany was defeated and occupied by the victorious Allied powers. The country was divided into 4 occupation zones controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Although Berlin lay deep inside the Soviet occupation zone, the city itself was also divided among the 4 allies. As relations between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union deteriorated, Germany became one of the first major battlegrounds of the Cold War. In 1949, 2 separate countries emerged. West Germany became a democratic nation aligned with the West. East Germany became a communist state supported by the Soviet Union. Berlin stood at the center of this growing divide. Life in East Germany became increasingly restricted. Many people wanted greater political freedom and better economic opportunities. Between 1949 and 1961, around 2.7 million people left East Germany. Many escaped through Berlin, where crossing into the western sectors was still possible. Among those leaving were doctors, engineers, teachers, scientists, and skilled workers. The East German government feared the country was losing its future. Something had to change. During the night of August 13, 1961, East German authorities sealed the border. Soldiers rolled out barbed wire across streets. Roads were blocked. Railway lines were cut. Families woke up to discover that neighborhoods, workplaces, and even relatives had suddenly become unreachable. Temporary barriers soon gave way to concrete walls. The Berlin Wall had been born. The Berlin Wall eventually stretched for about 155 kilometers, completely surrounding West Berlin. But it was far more than a wall. Guard towers overlooked the border. Floodlights illuminated the area at night. Patrol roads allowed guards to respond quickly. Alarm fences and a heavily fortified death strip made escape extremely dangerous. Crossing illegally could be fatal. Despite the danger, many refused to give up hope. Some dug secret tunnels beneath the wall. Others hid inside modified vehicles. A few escaped in homemade hot air balloons. Some climbed over barriers or swam across waterways. Thousands succeeded. Many others were captured. Some lost their lives trying to reach freedom. For almost 30 years, the Berlin Wall became one of the world's most recognizable symbols. It represented far more than a divided city. It symbolized the growing conflict between communism and democracy. 2 different political systems stood face to face, separated by concrete, barbed wire, and armed guards. By the 1980s, communist governments across Eastern Europe were under increasing pressure. Economic problems worsened. Public protests grew larger. Calls for political reform became impossible to ignore. East Germany was no exception. The government struggled to contain growing demands for freedom. Then came one of history's most famous press conferences. On November 9, 1989, East German official Günther Schabowski announced new travel regulations. During a live television briefing, a reporter asked when the new rules would begin. Schabowski, apparently misunderstanding the instructions, replied, "As far as I know, immediately." Those few words changed history. Within hours, thousands of East Berliners gathered at border crossings. The guards had received no clear orders. The crowds continued growing. Unable to control the situation, the guards finally opened the checkpoints. For the first time in nearly 28 years, people crossed freely between East and West Berlin. Families embraced. Friends reunited. Strangers celebrated together. People climbed onto the wall. Some danced. Others used hammers and chisels to break away pieces of concrete. Television cameras broadcast the celebrations around the world. The barrier that had divided Berlin for nearly 3 decades was coming down. Less than a year later, on October 3, 1990, Germany was officially reunited. The Cold War would continue for a short time longer, but one of its most powerful symbols had already disappeared. Today, most of the Berlin Wall has vanished. Only a few sections remain. Some have become memorials. Others display artwork reminding visitors of the city's divided past. Millions visit these sites every year to remember the lives, forever changed by the wall. The Berlin Wall was never simply a construction project. It shaped the lives of millions. It separated parents from children, brothers from sisters, friends from friends. Its history reminds us how political decisions can transform everyday life overnight. The Berlin Wall stood for nearly 3 decades. It divided families, shaped generations, and became one of history's most recognizable symbols. Yet in the end, it wasn't destroyed by bombs. It wasn't brought down by an invading army. It fell after years of political change, growing public pressure, and one extraordinary night that changed history forever. Sometimes the strongest walls aren't built from concrete. They're built from fear, and history shows that even those walls can eventually fall.